Welcome back to the Till. Hi, my name is Kevin Retcher. I'm the owner of First Meridian Mortgage, and in this video, we're going to discuss three topics. One, built-in rewards. Two, Vantage credit scores. And three, what the Fed did this week and what I think is going to happen with interest rates. So let's start with interest rates first, because that is going to affect your wallet. So the Fed, cautious Fed leaves interest rates unchanged as Powell nears the finish line. So if you don't know, Chairman Powell's last meeting was this particular meeting. Now, in this meeting, there were three people that wanted the language to become more neutral to where rates could go up or down from here. So basically, the handoff between Powell and Kevin Warsh would be kind of a neutral type of handoff that, if he needed to raise rates, that it could do that. Now, they did not actually put that language in, but the dissents were there, right? And then there was one dissent for lowering interest rates. That was Myron, and he's supposed to be aligned with Kevin Warsh's opinion on things. So, in general, they left the Fed rate at 3.5 to 3.75. Now, what I think is really cool is you can just go to CMEgroup.com and you can get a free account, and you don't even need to sign in to actually watch the Fed rates and what they expect might happen in the future. So it gives you a clock, 47 days to the next meeting, right? That should be Kevin's first meeting, most likely. And it tells you in this blue line that they're not expecting rates to change essentially until maybe July of 2027. Now, here's the thing. Remember those dissents? If you watch this, and I watch this every single week, these numbers through here, 14% to as high as 23%, 21%, have that they would have to raise the interest rates by then. So what that kind of is saying is with Iran, the war, oil, inflationary pressures, they could be calling for a slight possibility of a recession. Here's the thing. In my 30 years of being in this business, and I'm not an economist, interest rates tend to go on cycle 2 years at a time. They generally do not go up and down because the Fed wants you to have an idea of where they're going so that there's no surprises, right? So that's the whole premise behind the meetings, and we just don't like surprises. So if you watch or been watching my channel, I told you a few months back that I thought we were 14, 15 months into that 2-year cycle. I think we're about 18 months into the cycle. I don't know that they're going to cut rates at all this year for the remainder of this year. So with that said, we've kind of gone down, plateaued, but we've kind of spiked up because of the war, right? So what I mean by that is if you look at the resistance over the last year, okay, we are back to here over the course of the last year, and they cut rates numerous times. So we're in the same position on the 10-year, even though they've cut rates. And you're like, well, how can that be, Kevin, right? And the reality of it is this: Wall Street and the bond purchasers are in control more than technically the Fed. But the Fed, you don't fight the Fed, is the old saying. So Wall Street can get caught on the other side of things, but generally Wall Street is already ahead of what the Fed's going to do. So right now, what I would tell you, if you look at the last 5 days, I think we double tested right here, the 443, okay? And now we've started to come down. I think if the oil can get situated and Iran can get situated with a little bit better news, I feel that we could drift back down to that 399 that we had right before essentially the war took place. And if you look at the 3-month history here, right there is where the Iran started. We are at 396, and then that weekend hit, and off to the races. Interest rates have been. So if you've been caught in that, I apologize. I'm sorry. But remember, you can do a no-cost refi. So the key is if you're getting that perfect house on a purchase and you're paying just a little bit more, just realize that your carry costs can come down via a refinance. If you're in the market to buy, go ahead and get that house and then learn to do a no-cost refi. So number 2 that is going to affect your wallet, Fannie Mae, FHFA has announced that we now can use Vantage Score versus Fico. So FICO 10's been the standard essentially for mortgages, and now we can use this Vantage Score. My number one lender, United Wholesale, has initiated that already. And fundamentally, if you're looking to get pre-approved or buy a house, you're going to want to ask the question, are you using Vantage and FICO? You know, and whether or not, I mean, if you're under a 780 credit score, you really are going to want to know whether or not what your Vantage score is to see whether or not you could get a LLPA price improvement on your rate by using a Vantage score. Now, the Vantage score, way Freddie and Fannie are doing it right now, you subtract 20 off of that score, and that's the score that we're going to be using. Now, is that always going to be the rule, subtract 20? I don't know. But it's the rule that went into effect today with my main lender. It may be that that 20 is a buffer until they figure out the systems. I don't know. But right now, you could have a situation where you might have a 719 score, but the Vantage score might be 740. And you might get a better price or a better interest rate on your loan. So make sure your lenders are using both scores, FICO and Vantage. Tidbit that could save you money. Now, let's talk about built-in rewards. If you have been put with United Wholesale Mortgage or your servicing's with them, about 70 to 90% of my clients over the last 5 to 8 years, I've sent to United Wholesale Mortgage, and if they're still serviced by them, you can now earn rewards for paying your mortgage. And I think that is super cool because it's one of the biggest expenses that we have. So the question really is, why shouldn't we be able to earn rewards? We earn rewards on everything else. So right now, it's probably your largest expense, and now you're going to be able to essentially get rewards for paying your mortgage on time. Now, if you're a realtor, might be another reason to send business my way because of the fact that you could use it as a selling point. It's like, hey, if you buy this house, you know, there is the possibility of getting paid, you know, points and rewards for paying your mortgage on time as an added benefit of going to Kevin Retcher and his partnerships with United Wholesale Mortgage, right? So we also can tailor your mortgage with United Wholesale, and we can save you thousands of dollars essentially by not only having the built-in rewards, but we also, when we do the mortgage, we can lower your interest rates in between A's. So sometimes we're given 5.249 instead of 5.25 or 5.21 or 5.18. Whatever the case may be, we're not stuck to the eighth system that many other people are. We can also do custom locks on the exact number of days that you need to actually get a home, right? If you're closing in 18 days, why should you pay for 30, right? And I also can cater the term 29, 27, 23-year loan. If you're doing a refinance by chance, and you've already paid 3 years and you want to start at 27, done. Not an issue, right? So when we talk about those built-in rewards, Bilt was a system that was for renters to pay their apartment bill every month, and then they would earn rewards at local coffee shop or points toward travel, things of that nature. So that's essentially what United Wholesale Mortgage is doing, is creating a system where you can transition from being a renter to a homeowner and continue to get those Bilt rewards and save thousands of dollars over the life of a loan. You can get points at Walgreens or when you pay your rent, things of that nature. So there's a couple ways that it works. You essentially can get one of three cards. One is with no annual fee, and then one with a $95 annual fee, and one with $4.95. They all have extra dollars or that you're getting in Bilt cash for each one of those levels for signing up. And then there's other added benefits. One of the key things is you can transfer your Bilt rewards to other cards on a one-to-one basis, and that's actually very rare. And then the thing about it is, if you use these on other purchases, let's say your rent is your mortgage payment is $2,500. If you spend 25% or $500 a month on the card and then pay it off, you then get a multiplier and you get credit for the entire amount of your housing payment. If you only use it as an ACH and don't use the card, I think you get 300 points. But if you're using 25% or a minimum amount of swipes, then you get a multiplier and you can actually get more points to where you might get 2,500, right, on a $2,000 mortgage payment. So pretty exciting there. Again, my name's Kevin Retcher. I am the owner of First Meridian Mortgage. I have one goal, and that is to save you money. I'm licensed as a mortgage broker, insurance agent, and a realtor. I use Republic Title in Annandale for most of my purchases and refis in Virginia. They're one of the cheapest. I highly recommend them. If you need home inspectors, I have guys that I can trust, that if you want to use someone other than who your realtor might recommend, an unbiased recommendation, I'm happy to give that to you. So I have one goal, and that's to save you money. And as a Marine, that's why this channel is called Truth in Lending in Life. All my lenders that I represent, I make 1% across the board. And one of the goals that I have, along with saving you money, is to save you time and energy, in that you don't have to shop around. I make 1% on all of those lenders or less. So in general, you're getting my expertise as the owner of the company, as the loan officer, sometimes as the realtor, and as the insurance agent, and you're not paying a commission for that loan officer, his salary, right? I take 1% and I pay all my bills and I keep what's left over, and I'm not paying a loan officer a commission to originate your loan, okay? So all across the board, truth in lending and life, everything's always put in writing. My name's Kevin Retcher. Talk to you soon. To all the Marines out there, you know what I'm going to say, Semper Fi.